Hi there, I'm Erica Romero from Ever Educating, a PhD candidate and education blogger, and today I thought I'd try something a bit different by showing you a screen recording of the Annotation app that I use for all my digital research. In my last video, I talked more about the print text that I use, like library books, and how I annotate those using post-it notes and page flags. And the tips that I had for you about that will be linked in the description below. But today I want to talk more about how I organize and how I annotate using the app GoodNotes 4. So let's take a look. So my favorite annotator app is called GoodNotes 4, and it's this one down here with the pencil and the blue lines icon. And so if you open it up, you just go to a blank page of uncategorized notes that you can add to this app. And so it is a paid app, just so you know. I think it's $7.99 in the Apple App Store. But what I like about it is that up here you can create whatever categories you want for the app, and they could have a master category and then categories inside them. So for example, mine, I have a category for my dissertation, one for my Ever Educating resources that I either create or that I'm learning from for my blog and my YouTube channel. And then I have one that's just for various drafts that I do for my content. And then a master category of PhD, where I have things for classes I teach, drafts of my dissertation chapters, and then random work such as writing book reviews or edited collection chapters or journal articles. And then I have one called Plan here that just has various planners and notebooks that I've created or that I've downloaded throughout the years. So I thought I'd just show you quickly how I use this app, and especially how I use it to annotate PDFs that I add to it. And so if you go to, for example, your internet browser and you find a PDF that you want to add to it and annotate for your work, you can just download it straight into the app and decide where you want to put it. And so in this case, I'm just going to put it in the work category. And so as you can see, I have plenty of past ones here too. And so just to show you what it looks like, you just have the whole PDF there and you can scroll through it. And so this is obviously unannotated at the moment because I just downloaded it, but just to show you, for example, what you can do in this app. This is the same PDF that I have, but I've done some pre-work on it. And so let's say that you want to write a book review for a certain journal or book collection, but you're unsure about the genre. You can do some research with past issues that you find online. And as this example, this is actually a review that I wrote, but what I did here is I annotated it using different colors and using the highlighter tool, the pencil tool, and also the text box tool. And so to start, I have, highlighted in orange just an idea of how to transition into the review and also out of it. So I have the first basically phrase highlighted here that kind of shows that to enter this book review in particular, what I did here is I put some context of why this book was being written in the first place, why it was really trendy for its time. And then at the end of the review, I also highlight a phrase showing that now I'm giving some context for moving forward, what can be done with this book, or how can it be extended into other areas. I also highlighted in orange some small phrases of transitions that I included here, so kind of emphasizing that I pointed out that the book in question was divided into thematic parts, and I also pointed out that I saw a general pattern in the type of articles that were included in the book. And so basically one color, orange in this case, to kind of point out certain phrases or certain markers in the review that I want to keep in mind when writing a future one. And then in purple, which is my favorite color, if you saw my last video on annotation tips, which I'll link in the description below, I basically highlighted the start of each of my main sections of this review. And I noticed that when I wrote it, I have very obvious transitional phrases of to begin part 1, and then I give the title of that section. And then the next paragraph I have part 2, and I give the title of that section, and so on in part 3, and then part 4, and then in part 5. And so I highlighted in a different color these really rigid genre conventions that I used in this review. And then in the bluish green color, I highlighted direct quotes that I used from the book, just to kind of get a sense when I'm looking at it briefly how much of this review is blue. And as you can see here, not that much, right? So I have basically in each main section short phrases that I have directly quoted from the book, but nothing too long. And so that's another thing I point out in kind of analyzing the genre of the review itself for this particular journal. And so at the end, I basically, on the bottom here, I wrote some notes in a text box. First, the length of it, so 2.5 pages, obviously in 2 columns in this case, but also kind of the general structure of this review being give some context of the cultural moment that it was written in, and then have a very structured review of what the content includes, and then finish off with some more context in the sense of moving forward, looking to the future, what can be brought about by the study being done. And so I do think having an annotator app where you kind of collect the various categories of material that you want to have in it can be very beneficial. And I do like as well, as I pointed out, that you can really choose a lot of different colors and different tools for annotations. And so you could also even add bookmarks and such so that you can go directly to a certain page with a bookmark. And so that's just kind of really briefly how you can use digital annotation if you collect a lot of your resources from either your library databases or just online using Google Scholar or whatever the case may be. So you might have the tips of using post-it notes or page flags for print copies of your resource materials, but then you can have a digital collection as well on your tablet or iPad, so that on the go, if you're at a coffee shop or your library, you don't have to carry a laptop if you do have a tablet available for you. And so this is just one tool that you can use to kind of make annotation much easier, and you can still have that color coding element without having to actually print out everything you download online and then color coding it on paper. So if you like this app, I do talk about it more in my first video about annotation tips, and again you can see that linked below. I'm kind of curious though, do you have your favorite annotator app that you use? Please comment below and let me know what it is so I can check it out and see if that one's even better than what I've been using here in GoodNotes 4. If you found this video useful, or you're like me and you're obsessed with using color-coded annotation, then go ahead and like the video as well. If you like the format of this video, please let me know in the comments below so I know to have more screenshot recordings in the future.